Hello, Russ. My name's Alan. I'm a technician here at Vision RV, and I'm going to give you an orientation to the unit that you just purchased. I'm aware that you're not new to travel trailers and RVs, so we won't go over too much of the water heater, furnace, air conditioning stuff. So I'll just basically give you a rundown so that you'll know where things are and how to operate them to the best of your ability. All right? So starting up here at the nose, you have your pin box, okay? The pin box on this unit is mounted quite a ways forward, but if you ever are towing this unit, please remember to check the nose swing on the trailer when you turn sharp corners. Make sure the nose of the unit doesn't hit the cab of your truck, all right? On this side of the pin box is the emergency breakaway switch. This has to be attached to your vehicle, and in case the trailer ever comes apart from your vehicle, this will automatically deploy the electric brakes on your trailer. So, put that back in there. Tucked away up in here is your 7-way power cord, okay? We call this a 7-way cord simply because it's got 7 wires in it. When you plug this into your vehicle, it supplies a voltage to the battery to run the lights and the brakes on your trailer, but by no means does the alternator in your vehicle have the capacity to charge this battery in a short period of time. The minute you plug your trailer into shore power at the campground or wherever you're at, you're going to be charging your battery. When you plug this into your vehicle, you're not going to be charging your battery because it's a different charging system and they're not really compatible. So we'll tuck this back up in here so it doesn't get damaged. All right. The front of your unit up here, this is the switch for your landing gear. This is for the front legs on your jack. Retract brings them down, extend brings the nose of the trailer up. Inside this compartment is your front storage compartment. So in here you're going to find there's a battery box here for a second battery. There is a battery in your unit in the battery compartment outside, but there's a second box here for another battery if you wanted to. Your spare tires hanging on the rack there. There's a steel floor in this front compartment and they're rated for 300 pounds. So in the future, if you wanted to put a generator in here, it is possible. The tire would have to come out, but there's a nice solid floor in here that'll take a lot of weight and a lot of cargo space, okay? All right. Coming around the driver's side, watch your head. Always watch what you're doing when you come around this side of the unit. This slide right here is at a perfect height to catch most people right square between the eyes. And if you were looking down and not paying attention, came around the corner and hit this, it would knock you on your ass. A lot of people buy pool noodles and then split them down the middle and stick them over here to get some kind of protection. So be aware of that when you're coming around the unit. Underneath the slide here is some data tags. On here is information about your vehicle, your GVWR, and then your tire size and the inflation rate for your tires. This is important. A lot of people forget that. So you can always look here to remember where your tires should be inflated. If you ever replace the rubber on this unit, you must replace it with exactly what's on these tags. You'll notice that all of these numbers are going to match up. It has to be that size of tire, okay? This compartment here, no locks on it. This is your propane compartment. Got two brand new 30-pounders in here, nice and full, ready to go. This is the changeover valve. This little arrow here is going to determine which bottle you're pulling propane off of. I think you're probably familiar with those systems. So we'll close that up and we'll move on over here. Pass-through compartment on the driver's side. So in here is your water station, Russ. This is the city water hookup, and this is where you hook up to put water into your freshwater holding tank. The city water hookup is a great feature, but you want to make sure that in the starter kit that's over on the other side there, I'll show it to you when we get around there, there's a water pressure regulator in there. You need to put that water pressure regulator on here and then hook your garden hose up to it. The reason for that is we need to make sure that no more than 50 psi of water pressure goes into the unit. The water pressure regulator will regulate the water pressure to 45 psi. Okay? Like I said again, this one fills your freshwater holding tank, and then this one up here is called the black tank flush. This is a direct water line that goes to your poo tank so that you can inject some water into the tank to stir everything up and get all that solid waste material back floating in suspension again before you pull the black tank valve. Okay? Got a hand wand here with hot and cold water available so that you can rinse off all those dirty hoses when you're done dumping your sewer. This hose right here is the intake hose for winterizing your unit. This is how you'll put antifreeze into your trailer. This valve right here is in a position right now where it will draw water out of the freshwater holding tank. When you want to winterize your unit, the first thing you're going to want to do to winterize your unit is put your water heater in bypass and then turn that valve like that. Then you stick this hose into a jug of antifreeze and turn your water pump on inside your trailer, and you'll be able to suck the antifreeze out of the jug into your water system in your unit. You want to make sure you do bypass your water heater first. I'm going to put this back into this positions because your unit has already been de-winterized. So the antifreeze has gone out of the system, your water heater's full, and there's water in your tank already. That's about it for there. Now remember, if you forget some of this stuff, you've got it on video, but you can always call us and we can get a technician on the phone to help walk you through and remind you of those things. But at the campground, other RVers are your best source of credible advice and information. Go to other RVers. They got lots of advice and lots of experience to share with you. Call us if you got a problem. We can probably walk you through it. The last thing I would recommend is Google, because on Google there's a lot of information there, but you really need to be careful about what information is good and what information is not so good. So other RVers is the best place to go to get some really good advice about your unit if you forget how to run something. This compartment here is your hot water heater. So right now your water heater is empty. So my mistake there, it's empty. The bung is out of it, and you have electric and gas. Okay, gas is the best way to heat your water. It's the most economical way to heat your water, and the recovery rate is very, very fast if you're reheating the water on gas. On electric, it takes a lot longer, and on electric, you also have to remember to shut it off when you're done with it. If you leave the element on and forget that it's on, the element will burn out, and then it's a son of a gun to replace. Pretty straightforward here. When you go to use your unit, you're going to want to stick this back in and then fill her full of water. This on here. Okay, slides and slide boxes. On the side of your slide are these sweep seals. These sweep seals over time can dry out. There's a product called Seal Saver that every RV dealership should have. It's a spray-on foam that will rejuvenate the rubber and put some elasticity back into the rubber if they start to dry out. This compartment here, this is the back of your fridge. Up top is the vent, so the hot air that coming off the heating coils of your fridge, the hot air comes out there. This is access to the back of your fridge. You really don't need to go in here except maybe once or twice a year, take the cover off and check it to keep it clean. That's about all you got to do. Keep it clean. This is the vent for your range hood over your stove. And right now the flapper is open. Okay, so it'll let air in and out. When you store your unit over the winter time, make sure this flap is closed. Paper wasps love to get up in there and build nests. So close it off when you're not using it. Down here underneath. Okay. Down here is your dump station, Russ. This is where you put your dump hose. You've got an 1.5 inch line here. This is a gray tank. This is the other gray tank, and then this big black one here is your poo tank, okay? So all of your dumps come to this station right here. This is probably going to be gray. If your bathroom is up front, this is probably going to be gray 1, and this will be gray 2 for the kitchen, okay? Hook your dump hose on here, and then open up your valves accordingly. You should always dump the black tank first, then close the valve, and then use the gray water tanks to rinse all the poo and stuff out of your dump hose after you're done with the black tank. All right? This is one of the 2 little hazards that are associated with an RV. This is the intake and the exhaust for your furnace. When the furnace is running, Russ, and only when it's running, the hot air coming out of here is something to be concerned with. Pets and children, that kind of stuff. Whatever you do, don't lean anything up against the back of the trailer here. The hot air coming out of there will melt and burn stuff. So keep the kids away and don't pile anything up there. Short cord, this is where your short cord's going to plug in. I believe this is his.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
His is in the underbelly.
Okay.
With a pony. 2 ponies.
So this cord goes in only one way. It goes in, and then you have to give it a little 1/8 of a turn to lock it in place, and that locks it into its socket. The final slide out on your driver's side, and we come around the back. You got a ladder here to access the roof of your unit. This ladder is rated for 300 pounds, and that's all well and good. And if you're a big guy like that, Russ, as long as you're not bouncing up and down on this ladder, you don't have to worry. I'm 200 pounds. I can scramble up and down this ladder pretty quickly and not going to cause any damage. But it is just 4 screws and some adhesive holding it onto the fiberglass. So you will have to get up on the roof of this unit to check all of the sealant around all the holes in your roof, like you've got a skylight and your roof vents and all that kind of stuff. Plus, every time that you bring those slides in, somebody needs to check the roof of those slide boxes and make sure there's not a tree branch or a bunch of pine cones or anything large like that on the roof of the slide box. If you were to drag that slide box in and there was a tree branch or pine cone up there, you will do damage to the sweep seal, and you may do damage to the rubber membrane that is the roof of that slide box too. So you will have to get up on this ladder and check the roof of your slides before you bring them in. Make sure there's nothing large up there that can do damage to the slide when you're bringing it in. Okay, coming around this way. You have the landing gear at the front is your stabilizing for the unit, and then at the back of your unit there's a switch right here, and underneath right here is the stabilizing jacks for the rear of your trailer. You push the button and the jacks will come down, hit the ground. There we go. The jacks will come down, and when they make solid contact with the ground, that's all you need, and that takes all the wiggle and the wobble out of your trailer. Then you retract them back up again, they'll go all up by themselves. Okay. The other hazard that's associated with an RV. The furnace exhaust can hurt you, and these stairs can hurt you. They're heavy, and they got a lot of sharp edges and sharp corners on them. So when you're putting these away, make sure you got both hands on it. Grab it up and put it into place. These lock pins here will keep it from coming this way, okay? And when the door closes, this door jamb right here closes up against this piece right here, which really secures the ladder in place so it's not banging forth all the time. But when you deploy the ladder, you need to pull this in like this and then get a good grip on it because it's really heavy. So watch setting it up. Okay. And then when you do pull your steps out, the next thing you want to make sure is you adjust the leg length so that there's no gaps in here. You don't want any gaps in here. If there's a gap in there like that, then your door isn't going to close properly. Okay, so make sure that these are touching each other here. Should be a receptacle here. Nope, it's over here. All right, here we are. 120 volt receptacle for a television, cable right here. So if you brought cable into your unit, now you can bring cable and satellite out of your unit to a TV here, power here. This bracket is for the TV that's inside your unit. It will lift off the bracket inside and then come and fit right on here, okay? Another set of stairs. So again, another hazard, same type of stairs. So again, be careful when you're setting them up. Right now, I think you, I don't know if you're aware or not, but the power head on your awning is buggered and it will not go in and out on its own. So we have it tie wrapped in place, and a new power head has been ordered for your awning. I'm not exactly sure when it'll be here, but as soon as the new power head comes in for your awning, we'll contact you and let you know that it's here so that we can make that repair. Okay, pass-through compartment on the driver's side. Your starter kit. This is the water pressure regulator that'll regulate your water pressure to 45 psi. You need to put this on that city water intake hookup. You get 25 feet of hose in here as well, and another adapter for your shore cord, some dump hose, toilet paper, and some treatment for your tank. Okay. Also in here is the adapter for your shore cord. As you can see, your shore cord over there has a 50 amp cord end on it. So it'll plug into here, and then this will plug into a 30 amp receptacle. This is for your emergency breakaway switch, and we got a brand new slip disc in here for your fifth wheel hookup. This is sitting inside here. This is the head. This is the cover for the power head for your awning. So I'm going to leave it in here so that we can put it back on the other one when it comes in. Up here on the front, this switch is for the nose lights caps. This is for the lights that are on the nose of your unit. This is a light for inside your compartment, and this is your battery disconnect. When you're parking your unit for the winter time, turn this to off and pull the key. That way there's no 12 volt power going into your trailer. It's still a good idea to take your battery out of your trailer and put it in the garage if you got someplace for it. But if you disconnect this, at least the stuff inside your trailer that runs all the time, like the memory for your stereo, maybe there's memory for radio and a clock, and then the liquid propane and carbon monoxide detector in your unit is hooked up to the battery, directly to the battery. So those things will drain power out of your battery and kill the battery over the winter if you don't take this disconnect key out. Okay, battery compartment. It's a little cramped in here, but there's your battery tucked away inside there. It's good and charged up. Inside here is also some fuses. There's some inline fuses and then circuit breakers here. Okay, so if there's 12 volt problems with your trailer, this is one of the first places to come look. Maybe these fuses have failed or one of these fuses is burned out. This is a vent for your battery, and then you've got marine grade RV outdoor speakers on the outside of your unit. They're 100 watts. They make a lot of noise. They're pretty good. So now we can take it inside. So I just came in the front door of your unit. When your unit gets dropped off, or if all of the slides are closed, you have to come in through the back door in order to get at your monitor panel here to run all your slides in and out. Okay, so just remember that if all the slides are in, you got to come in through the back door to get access to this. You won't be able to sneak by all the slides when they're closed. So this control panel, what you've got here, this is the button for your awning, which we're not going to operate now because it's not working properly. This one here is for the kitchen slide out. This one down here is for the dining room slide out. And then these two up here or for the 2 slide outs up at the front of the unit. So those are pretty straightforward, in and out. On the panel, we've got a row of buttons right here. This one is labeled BAT for the battery. When you're plugged into shore power, you'll see all 4 lights light up, which means you are getting a charging voltage to the battery. Your fresh tank right now is empty, and all of your holding tanks are empty. This switch is for the water pump. This one is for the water heater, and it's gas only. There is no option on here for electric, so you will never have to worry about using the electric option on your water heater. That is a good thing, okay? And then interior lights, pretty straightforward there. I don't think there's any issues there. Let's move over this way. Your distribution panel is down here for all your 120 volt circuits, and then all your 12 volt automotive fuses are there. On these panels, Russ, if this fuse was to blow out, the little LED light beside it will light up, so you'll know which fuse popped. Close that back up. This is intake for your furnace, fresh air intake for your furnace, and you do have a small bar fridge on the end of your island, which is off, and I'm going to leave it off so that it doesn't run and get all stinky on you. Okay. Range probably doesn't need a whole lot of explaining, but what I'm going to tell you is that this igniter is for the burners and also for your oven. Okay, so if you want to light the oven, you don't need a barbecue lighter. This is also the igniter for the pilot light in the oven. On this stove, there's a light switch over here. You turn the light switch on, and then all the rings light up around there, and the light inside the oven lights up. Fridge is pretty straightforward. 2 buttons up here. One to turn it on and off, and one to select between automatic and gas. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to recommend you leave it in automatic. In automatic, the fridge will run on 120 volt power. If the power ever fails, it'll automatically start itself on gas. When the power comes back on, it'll shut the gas off and go back to electric to run the fridge again. That's the best way to run your fridge, okay? What are we missing up front? Stereo system, fireplace. There's remote controls in the fridge for the TV, the stereo, and the fireplace. But if you don't want to use the remote control, there are buttons on top of the fireplace to use it manually. Pretty straightforward there. Heating and air conditioning. Right here, it's hard to see right now, but it's actually turned off right now. If I push this button, I'll energize the pad, and now you can see that it says off, and it's 22 degrees inside the unit right now. If I push this button, I can cycle through the functions. There's fan, cool is air conditioning, and for air conditioning, make sure it's on high and auto, because that's where the air conditioner likes it. And then tap it once more for heat. And then you set your temperature here. Tap it one more time and it'll shut itself off. All straightforward right there. This big Decora switch here, this is for your ceiling fan. Okay. Now, coming down this way, this is your little boy's room in here, Russ, okay? On the wall right here is a ground fault circuit interrupter. If there's no electricity at the 110 volt receptacles inside or outside your unit, you probably have to come here and reset that breaker, okay? This protects all of the 120 volt receptacles inside and outside your unit. The bunk beds upstairs, nothing drastic up there, and I think in the bedroom, not too much going on here either. This is the controller for the slide for your bedroom. So this is going to bring the slide in and out for the bedroom one. And then you have in here is washer and dryer hookups. You've got hot and cold water in there, and there should be a light here. Yeah. Okay, hot and cold water. This is for the drain for your washing machine, and then you've got receptacles to plug in your washing machine and your dryer. There will be some storage under the bed, as is pretty much standard in every RV. Okay. And that's about it. I don't think there's anything more to really share with you. So at this point, we're all done the orientation. When I'm finished here with this, I'm going to turn off all the lights and I'm going to close up all of the slides and get your unit ready to come down to you and get set up down there. When you are closing up the slides in your trailer, please make sure you take a look around for any drawers or cupboard doors that might be open or even a little bit ajar, because when these slides come in, Russ, nothing's stopping them. If anything gets in the way, it will get damaged. So every time you're going to close up your unit, take a look around the slides and make sure this door is closed so the slide don't catch it coming in. Just little things like that. Cupboard doors up there, make sure that they are completely closed. If this slide was to come in and grab this handle, it would rip this, it would just tear this right apart. So make sure everything's closed up nice. Other than that, I think you're really going to enjoy this. Leanne tells me you weren't happy with that little tag trailer you had before. You definitely got lots more room in here, buddy. It's more like a home. You'll feel a lot more comfortable, and you got a decent unit. Once we fix that power head on that awning, you got a really nice unit with no problems to worry about. So thank you very much for buying from Visions, and hope to see you coming back in a couple of years to trade this in on another unit. All right, my friend, take care of yourself and be good. Have a great summer.